What is you back again in the video? In today's video, man, something a little different, man. So today we're going to be talking about why I believe Call of Duty World War II is one of the best, if not the best, Call of Duty ever made. And I'm going to bring some pretty good evidence to the table to basically describe my opinion on this matter and kind of how I'm feeling about this whole thing. Some background information about how long I've been playing Call of Duty, so this kind of helps you understand that I am not just some teenager that knows nothing about Call of Duty, that's just saying things to say things for views or likes or dislikes, whatever I may be trying to do, like some of these other YouTubers do. I've been playing for 13 years, 6 competitively, and I've recently come back to the competitive scene a little bit, and I'm getting into the more grinding aspect of the scene. And I have around 10,000 nuclears to my name, 3,000 on AW, 3,000 on Modern Warfare 2, 600 here on World War II, and roughly around 400 on Infinite Warfare, and about 100, 200 or so on pretty much every past Call of Duty, except for BO4, MW 2019, Cold War Vanguard, and of course Warzone, NVR, Cabo will have like 5 nukes. And I believe, right, that Call of Duty has always been an arcade shooter. The definition of an arcade shooter is something that's usually unrealistic, not very set in stone for realism. And that kind of leans into why I feel the way I do about Call of Duty, and that's why I kind of feel the way I do about Infinite, Advanced Warfare, and Black Ops 3, and why I believe the exosuits actually were a great implementation, and we should have those back more often. And that's also why I believe that what I'm about to say for World War II is completely 100% accurate. Okay, and I'm going to be honest in this review. I'm going to be announcing the things that I dislike about the game, the things that I think they did the worst on, where they could improve on, and what they did great on. And I'm gonna be talking about both sides of the conversation because it's very important that we do this. Okay. So to start with the game, we're going to talk about PvP. We're seeing some PvP in the background right now. Majority of the video will be PvP. Even when we're talking about zombies, it'll be PvP. And then story, I got a cutscene from the beginning of the game for you guys to watch while I'm talking about it. And to begin with, we have to understand that Call of Duty World War II came out in 2017, a little around 2018 more, and it came out in a time where it was very conspiracized time period for Call of Duty. We had just got done with Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, and we were going into the following year would be BO4, which should be another modernistic, more futuristic Call of Duty, and then, of course, Modern Warfare 2019. And here's the problem, right? This is where this game fucked up, okay? It released in a good time, right? We all asked for a boost in the ground, we got boost in the ground. And it makes sense, all right? We got it. The most boots on the ground COD you can think of, World War II, right? And this game had pretty much no real World War II competition on the scene at that time, so it did help, right? But it had a really rocky start. So the first about week or so, it was extremely laggy. Servers were crashing almost non-stop. There was a huge error which caused millions of players to be reset. World War II would go to sell, I think by the end of 2018 or by the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, 17 million copies. I think it's jumped up to like 20 million now, I believe. And what that caused, right, that ricochet of all these things with the server issues, which is not uncommon, by the way. I mean, it happens literally every year. This year, with college, this World War II year, or that year, was a little more severe because of a new implementation called Headquarters. Headquarters was something new, and pretty much was a once-and-done thing. They never brought it back. I don't know why. Everyone loved it. But it basically caused huge server errors because it was trying to load up a bunch of players and these hundreds of these HQs, and the server just couldn't handle it, right? I mean, World War II sold millions of copies the first week it was out. It was phenomenal in sales, first beginning launch. And it wouldn't be till I think it was Christmas of that year, so almost like 3 or 4 months almost, that everything would go completely back to normal, and the game was in an amazing state. And the game really hasn't changed server-wise since then. I mean, it's been pretty stable. There's been very few server outages, most caused to updates and the large sums of players. And that goes back to the thing of development was different back then. Developers were different. All right, they were. There's a 100% difference. This game would go on to sell millions and millions of dollars in copies, and then billions of dollars in microtransactions. This game had supply drops. We all know this. This is all not new information. But this year, it did something different, right? And I think this also goes into the whole reason why the servers were more balanced, right? They had a very particular way of doing it so that people from all types of life could buy microtransactions. Now, we didn't have an item shop. So any players that started from 2019 Modern Warfare, there was no item shop. There was no such thing. You had a couple clan skins like FaZe, Optic, Team Caliber, that type of stuff. But it wouldn't be until Black Ops 4 that the item shop really came into play. And then, of course, Modern Warfare 2019 blew it out of the park. But we had supply drops, and we had things called collections. They were kind of like if you played Infinite Warfare, you would know they're kind of like a grindable variant type of situation. This game was a little different. They didn't have variants; they were just flat out deals. So like cosmetic variants, and this changed the whole atmosphere of Call of Duty, I think, as a whole, because it altered it, right? I mean, there's no reason to really grind, particularly for anything. Really, it was just grind, right, to get DLC weapons. So that wasn't the issue. And with all those variants coming in every update, there was a lot of content being added. We're talking about 20 variants sometimes every update. If there's about 3 or 4 DLC guns, and every variant had like 3 or 4 variants, that adds up after a while. And then in skins with like outfits and calling cards and emblems and all that type of stuff. It wouldn't be until the end of its life cycle that we'd understand the full extent of the situation. So this game has one of the largest weapon pools in COD history. I mean, this game has a lot. There's 10 ARs, I think like 10 SMGs, like 9 or 10 snipers. I mean, there's a lot of guns in this game. I think there's about 42, 50 guns almost in the game, so about a Battlefield size, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's quite a lot for a COD game. Especially of this time, alright? This era, like BL3 was the largest at this point. It had like tons of weapons. I mean, they had like 12 melee weapons in Black Ops 3 alone. But that's just some base stuff, right? We're not even into the more in-depth part of World War II, which is the phenomenal gunplay in this game was phenomenal. So this would be considered the last quickscoping COD. I know I'm going to get some people in the chat saying, well, BL4, you can quit. No, you can't, alright? Nowhere to the extent of this game. This game was literally the Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 2 of, like, the next generation. I mean, this game was quickscoping. I mean, to this day, you will find quickscopers sniping, having a good time. And that caused sniper teams to really propel into the future. Montages were becoming more popular, as you know. I put a bunch of montages up. They blew up. And this revived the sniper teams. And a lot of sniper teams today owe it to this game for the revivals. They may not admit it, but they do, right? So this game had immense great things, but what went wrong? Well, poor development teams. Sledgehammer Games, I love them to death, but they had a very, very bad time. Halfway through the life cycle, they kind of just collapsed. They collapsed. With the leaving of Michael Condrey, I think it was Glenn Schofield? I don't remember his other name, the other guy's name, but those 2 guys, the big developers, they left. They got either retired or fired, I don't exactly remember. And it kind of crushed them. The whole company just kind of collapsed. And it caused some updates to be delayed, it caused updates not to come out very well. And the whole trans scheme of things. And this caused a lot of issues. And this is where we get into some of the problems of this game. The major problems, right? And that is, what happened to the balancing issues, right? So you had things like fire shotguns, riot shields, bouncing Bettys. You had the PTRS, which could literally blast scope you from miles across the map and still hit you. I mean, it was stupid and inaccurate. Paratrooper inserts, stun grenades, LMGs with no recoil. These are some pretty serious problems with the game, and they're still persistent to this day. They've never been fully patched. They did a really good job of balancing SMGs and ARs. You'll find that a lot of the ARs and SMGs are pretty much baseline the same. There's a couple DLCs that aren't, usually the ones at the end of the seasons. So this game, they had a good job with it, right? They had a good plan. And this is coming to an idea for a video I'll be coming out tonight, probably still with it again. And my idea for the future Call of Duty and why I think this future idea could work, right? But I don't want to spoil too much of that video because it's going to be pretty good. I think you guys enjoy it. But if they're going to have more time on this game, right? If they had more, like another year, I think this game could have been different. And I think its popularity would have skyrocketed because anyone that watches my streams knows the game is phenomenal now, right? It's great now. And that's because the modes have all been added. So for anyone who hasn't played recently, all of the modes that ever existed in the game are fully in the game now. Horde Point, Winter Gun Game, Ground War, Free for All, Surge, all of them, right? Dogfight, Leprechaun Mosh Pit, Halloween Mosh Pit, so all of the modes. And this caused a variety in gameplay for anyone playing the game still. This is also the last COD, besides BO4, to have a traditional level and grind system for camos and weapons. So the highest gun, I think, is like 15 or 14, I think is the highest gun. And all the challenges are basically the same: headshots, double kills, kills with no attachments. Not attachments, kills with certain divisions, double kills, paybacks, backstabbers, the usual stuff, right? Bloodthirsties. And what this did was allowed for easier grindability as a whole for everyone, right? And this is where Call of Duty World War II propels, in the fact that it is traditional but innovative at the same time, which is hard to do at all, right? But they did a very good job of it. I think the only other COD that did an amazing job at being innovative but still true to its roots, and a lot of you are going to argue in the comments, but I don't care, because this is just facts. They don't care about your feelings. And that is Infinite Warfare. It was a great job of being innovative, adding new things, changing things up, but still being base roots. And I saw a video by a guy named like Thunder or something, I don't fucking know, and you probably find him on the topic page, the recent World War II videos on the topic on YouTube. And it was like World War II in 2022, and he was trying to say that this game has skill-based matchmaking. It does not. There just isn't a lot of servers, a lot of full servers. So the servers you are getting into, they're going to be more better players. People like myself, right, who are better players, and you're going to find those shotguns everywhere. I mean, if anyone says they're coming, like he comes from playing Modern Warfare 2019, talking about 757 or not 757, sorry, 727 or whatever the fuck it was called. That's the same thing everywhere, right? You're going to find those shotguns. And this is where things really propel, right? Because this game is coming up on its five-year anniversary, I believe it is. I think it's next month or so, it'll be 5 years. I think it's October, it'll be 5 years. Because I believe this is an October release. This game propelled in the fact that it wasn't a game that needed doctored a whole lot. It came out, and it was relatively based perfectly well the first try. We see games like Vanguard, which are completely and utter garbage at the moment, and that just really sucks, right? Because I think the World War II game could have been, maybe looked at, and they could have based Vanguard off that, and I think it would have been better, because this game, at least it launched with actual DLCs, new weapons, 2 mastery camos, the Chrome and Chrome Tiger. I think Chrome Tiger was added a couple months after the release, but it was still in the game. 10 prestiges, level 1000. It was still true to its roots. And I could probably go for hours on this, but I don't have a lot of gameplay, so I'm going to move over to zombies. If you guys want a more detailed version of multiplayer and what I mean by that, let me know in the comments. I don't really know. If you guys want to listen to a huge long video on me basically going on a speech about this game. So we're going to switch over to zombies. I just got a few minutes to top over there, and then we're going to head over to campaign. So zombies in this game is debatable, right? I do think Vanguard has had the best No, sorry, not Vanguard. Cold War has had the best zombies in recent years, due to just the amount of grindability with Dark Aether, mastery camos, all that type of stuff. On the other end of the spectrum, there's World War II zombies. And this was the slight issue with there was not much to do in Vanguard zombies. So if you say you were Master Prestige already, right, there wasn't much to do. And if you're not Master Prestige, to get to Master Prestige, again, not much to do except for just play the game. Easter eggs were alright. Final Reich was a little easy to do Easter egg. I find myself doing that Easter egg solo relatively easy. And I think that's where the issue became a part of why World War II Zombies kind of failed in the community, is because it didn't have grindability, didn't have replayability. Once you beat the maps, you beat the maps. There was no reason to play it again, unless you're someone weirdo that decided that you need to play it every day. I don't know. But for this video wise, we're going to stay in the realms that it's I don't know if there's a way to describe it. It's a game where I think they wanted to do zombies, but they kind of wanted to not copy and paste like Treyarch's or Infinity Ward style of zombies, would be like Infinity Ward's Baseland zombies, Treyarch's normal Aether story. And they did a good job of staying in their own lane, but I think what happened was they kind of, especially when Vanguard came out, right, in Cold War, with Sledgehammer not really making their own zombies, Treyarch helped them out with them. I think they realized very quickly that the zombies was kind of a losing battle on their end. I think they could have done it better by adding camos. I think we all kind of agreed on this during the time of the game's release. Mastery camos and zombies would have been something they should have added. And also was the only mode in this game that added movable camos from the get-go. Fun fact. And it wouldn't be until halfway through the life cycle that we got the 1,000 camos. And still we got multiple moving camos and multiplayer. And again, I think it goes back to staying in the realm of reality, in the realm of historically accuracy. I think that's why some people like this game and some people hate this game. It's kind of a 50-50. So, Zombies in a nutshell really was an okay game, but I think it needed some time, and time they didn't have, which kind of cost them in the long run. But I am hoping that maybe one day we'll get a Nazi Zombies 2 or something, and they can build upon what they had in here, because it was a great game, but grindability, replayability was extremely low in this game, Zombies, which hurt it in its long run, especially for zombie players. But with that being said, that's pretty much the gist of my opinions on this game's multiplayer and zombies. Again, if you guys want a longer video, I can do that, but I don't think you guys want to sit here. It's already almost a 30-minute video, so I don't think you guys want to sit here for 40, 50, 60 minutes. So we're going to cut over to multiplayer, or no, I'm sorry, not multiplayer, campaign, and we'll see what we can get going over there. And yeah, see you guys over there. So over here in campaign, we're going to be talking about a couple things while we're watching the background. I'm not sure how much of this will actually go, because I don't want not much to say on a campaign, but World War II's campaign has got to be one of the best campaigns I've played since Infinite, probably. Infinite and Advance had some really good campaigns, and Ghost, obviously. But why? Why did World War II, in my opinion, be one of the best campaigns? And this is pretty self-explanatory, and that is World War II is a more grittier, realistic version of World War II. Unlike World at War, where everyone thinks it's gritty and realistic, and it's not. Most of the battles over there are completely incorrect, and how they played out, casualties, how everything went down. That's a whole other video. But this game did a very good job of depicting the Rhine, D-Day, and Carrington did basically a pretty good job of it. But more of why this game's campaign is overall better than others is the Holocaust representation, which is really hard to do in the grand scheme of things, just for the fact is of the soft generations that we live in today. Because in order to be realistic and accurate, we need to be completely honest on the situation, right? I mean, anyone that's understood the Holocaust, who's listened, it's not a pretty sight. I think the game does a delicate job of balancing itself between giving you the understanding but not overdoing it, right? So in the one mission, um, towards the end of the campaign, spoilers, you're going to be searching for Zussman, who was captured. Um, and this is toward the end. This is like the last mission. And you're going through a Holocaust camp. So they don't even need to show you bodies to represent or to get across what is actually happening, right? And that was a good tactic because they didn't have to visualize Jews being massacred, but they get the same feeling by, the setting, the temperament of the situation. So you can see like ropes hanging, and you can see like beds and shit's all over the place, and it gives you a really good representation. There's like makeshift piles that look like body piles, but they have like covered, and you can't really see the charcoal. You can't make it out. It was a really good way of demonstrating that. And then of course when he finds Zussman at the end, he's skin and bone and nothing to him. And of course that's realistic in so many different ways. And I think that does a really good representation of what it would have been like to see that type of situation, which is great, right? Not the great that it happened, but great that they can demonstrate that. And it wouldn't be until, I think, Modern Warfare 2019 that they would kind of do it again with, the whole baby woman in the house when you're searching it and shit. But that's a different video. And it doesn't stop there. With World War II, you have the D-Day invasion, which has a really good job of demonstrating the gore, and then the grittiness of D-Day, right? Because it wasn't easy, right? It was dirty, gritty, bloody, lots of carnage. They do a relatively good job with that. And I think they did a good job of not showing cliff scaling. Yeah, skiff scaling. Because not all of D-Day was skiff scaling. Most CODs that have World War II in it that do D-Day seem to always like to use the scaling of like cliffs. That's not 100% of the D-Day. Majority of a lot of the bloodbath would actually be the frontal assault beaches up to the shoreline, mainly because turrets were easier to hit targets. And I think they did a really good job of just overall graphic wise. The characters were great. The only flaws in the campaign would be the tank and aerial combat scenes. They could use some work. But it was 2017, 2018, 2016 era, so I mean there wasn't any much better games at the time anyway. So, but overall, I think this game did a great job at so many different things, right? And that's kind of what we're going to recap now. So we have a game that's had some issues, but every COD does, right? Every COD has its issues. But now, it tried to fix so many other issues, like no scope matchmaking. Supply drops were more balanced. I think supply drops were the most balanced in this game than they probably already have ever had, honestly. And this game had a not only huge impact on me and my YouTube, as everyone knows. I mean, I've uploaded probably over 400 World War II videos. Majority of my channel is World War II. But this game has boosted the want for more World War II games, right? Because I think World War II is an interesting way of demonstrating combat. I do think Modern Warfare era is a great era, but I think they could have done a better job at, say, Cold War and Vanguard. Vanguard was a terrible decision. We'll get that out the way. World War II should stay basic. It should stay basic. That's what it's meant to be, right? It's not a super complex time period. It was very basic. Most of your guns didn't have attachments. So why Vanguard has 70-some attachments for every gun? I don't know. This game does a really good job being basic, and to be honest, that's the way it should be. And this is, for most people, in my opinion, I think would agree with me on this, the last true taste of traditional Call of Duty before the massive change, right? The massive split. So, with that being said, we're almost at the end of the clip. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. I know it's kind of a slow, me talking for a long time, stuttering, making mistakes for a long period of time, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I do stand by this. I do think Call of Duty World War II was one of the best CODs, top 3 easily, because of its power to move people, right? And over 5 years still has a strong fan base, stronger than Black Ops, some of the Black Ops, original Black Ops games, some of the original Modern Warfare's, and some of the more recent games like Modern Warfare 2019 has a more bigger fan base than those. That's impressive. With that being said, guys, you guys are awesome. You guys are one of a kind. You guys are beautiful. Play World War II, man. Get it. PS4. Add me. Let's play. And until the next one, it's been your boy. Peace.